You know what they say? Live by Mongol, die by Mongol. And that's what we're going to get here. That's right. Capoch versus DemonSheep. This one should be doozy, as we have got some Mongol on Mongol action. DemonSheep, high-ranking Asian player. Played some Age of Empires 2 competitively. Never really made the moolah, you know, never really made the $1,000,001. But Capoch also been playing AoE 2 for quite some time. I think he's earned a decent amount. I just want to double-check, actually, how much it is total. I want to say around 50K at least. Okay, not that much. $27,000, though, is respectable. A lot of that just coming more recently. So, very talented players. Should be an exciting match up. Capoch currently sitting 34th on the leaderboard, and DemonSheep at 36th. So, this one could be the difference between switch and spots, all right? Let's see how it goes. I like this matchup on this map as well, actually. I think the river with the choke points without walling makes for a very interesting dynamic, and we could get some fun kind of back and forth flows. Be interested to see if either of them try to get on the water early, or if we see any sort of cheesy kind of rush tactics. Sometimes we see that, right? Mongols don't have the ability to wall, so we have seen scout rushing can be super effective against this Civ, especially if you are this Civ. But opening-wise, Uvu already grabbed. Ooh, that's rough. I wonder where the Uvu was for Capoch. Kind of got screwed a little on this. It was a much longer run to reach the tree line and then, you know, divvy across to the Uvu. So I definitely like initially DemonSheep spawn a bit better. Like the gold is equal parts away. I think overall, yeah, a lot of this, like DemonSheep got a little bit better, right? He's got 2 gold veins close by. That'll be amazing when you get to step redoubt stage. 3 relics are on his side of the map. The deers are admittedly well hidden. That's one of the sucky points. But if he finds it, it's right next to a berry bush and the stone outcropping as well as having another deer line easily defendable back here. Meanwhile, another deer line that's less likely to be spotted back here for Capoch. Not to mention one further up here next to the berry bush. So that's at least similar. But yeah, in terms of the relics, if nothing else, alongside the initial starting points, definite edge for DemonSheep. However, Capoch already on the water. He was quick with this. He will get the fishing boats out, but DemonSheep, you can already see, is building into the outpost, so he'll push him away from this instantly. Nice move out of DemonSheep. Even has his Khan here, so no way that Capoch can prevent him from doing this. And it's interesting as well, because DemonSheep himself didn't go on the water. So it's more or less you force your opponent to invest economy here, invest resources, and now you're just going to count that out. And you could then come on the water afterwards, and then, I hope he does. I mean, there's 4,000 food here waiting to be claimed, right? It feels a bit pricey to just surrender and never take yourself. Meanwhile, in his base, decent amount of people working on the food line. Returns the sheep as well to keep that going up to 8 right now. I don't think he's scouted out. No, yeah. Oh my, that's so. Look how close that is. That's like sniffing range. I can smell the deer poop from the edge here, but I can't see where they are. This would have been so good as well. Like you could have expanded over here with a gur, and it would have been kind of worthwhile because you would have like gathered the food. You could have moved over to the gold line later. There's a few options here. That being said, we have to remember gurs are expensive, right? Unlike the other civs, these cost 100 wood. But of course, you can move them is the benefit you have compared to other civs. Now, 2 spearmen out just to garrison it into the outpost. A worthwhile investment. Some people say, why don't you just use villagers if that's what you want? Because, you know, spearmen cost more. But remember that spearmen get produced out of a completely separate building, and that's why you do it this way. And now also the other thing you're going to see from him is you're going to move these spearmen across to just raise the structure instead. And his opponent isn't really countering this. I mean, he's trying to build out spearmen, but he's already behind production-wise. That being said, he does have a shorter route to run than his opponent. But I feel like with the range of the outposts, the extra arrows flying in, it might be difficult for Capoch to keep this up and operational. Especially now that his opponent is trying to get dockside control as well. So yeah, he'll hold his spearmen back. He's going to need to wait for the 6th, though. Yeah, they're coming now. So he's going to try and go up to 8 total. He might want to make a move sooner, though, because you can see that this trickling is still occurring. Yeah, the Khan spots out what's incoming. Now, he could movement speed buff them away. That's the other thing that you have to be careful of your Capoch. Not only the outpost, but the fact that your opponent can kite you, because he has his Khan here and you do not, which is why the Khan's coming over now. And they almost snipe him out, by the way. Whew. Heavy damage. So, garrison in, outpost will add an arrow in, and that's instantly why Capoch backs off. Equal numbers just won't do it here for him. And that's the dot gone. There's really no point to be here anymore. So you've got 4 fishing boats that are doing nothing now. You're going to have to try and find a way to maybe get back here later, if you even can. Meanwhile, your opponent starts to get his economy online here. And the spears, are outnumbered by blue here, but as long as they keep close formation and they stay close to this outpost, there's not really a way that Capoch can get in on him. That being said, with a replenishment up to 10 now, I think this should just be DemonSheep's army being just spent. You kind of got what you wanted out of it, right? So now you just play defensive in the outpost, and this should just buffer Capoch away from this river line. That being said, he's trying to get back on it a little bit to the north. So outpost shots out. Not getting the spearman in the end. Does lose the main army, but DemonSheep not really bothered too much by this now that he's able to get on the water. What'll be interesting is if he can hit the tech up first. It looks like he's got the resources much better than Capoch. Remember, Capoch, he kind of doubled down the spears, right? He invested a lot more there, which means he's not ready for a tech up. And if you hit a tech up quick enough, then you will control the seas here as DemonSheep because you'll be able to get the light junks out before your opponent can. And is he going to build a new outpost? I don't know if you need to. I'd rather just save the resources for the light junks, right? I think that's a better use of that resource. So tech up begins. Where is it beginning, though? There we go. Just done it now. So DemonSheep into the Deerstone. Never really see anything else in 1v1s. Meanwhile, Capoch just trying to harass him with his spearman, but you're not getting near this outpost. You just don't have the armor to sustain fire from that while you burn the structures down. That was another small detail, right? The fact that he took out his opponent's outpost meant that... Oh, sorry, not outpost, but his dock. Meant that he got that food and gold, which also helped him just accelerate towards this tech up quicker. A tech up that Capoch is now going to try to start matching, but he needs gold still. What's going on over here? Okay, 2 people are working on it. He'll get there eventually. Does spot this expansion at the back, so like he's going for the deer here. I like that he's making this move. His opponent isn't doing the same, so even though he's not fully strong on the water, like his opponent can potentially push him off the light junks, what he does have is he has the edge in terms of he's gathering deer, while his opponent is still only gathering from sheep. Like Spearman do push Capoch off, and tech up is almost complete. Halfway there right now. Meanwhile, Capoch has begun his. I believe he has more villages invested here, though. So, yeah, he'll be able to match the timing, if not exceed it. And there's the expansion on the berry bush. Really, really awkward from DemonSheep. The fact that he still hasn't looked behind his base. Like, you have to assume, if you can't see the deer by now of what you've scouted, they've got to be in this tiny, blacked out area you haven't checked yet. But because he always has his Khan on the front to try and give those movement speed buffs, he never invested in that information gathering, right? He never found this. So, Spearman in. They're under the outpost, though, so they're going to start losing this fight. So Capoch is going to lose the Vanguard as he's matched and outmatched because of that outpost being garrisoned by 3. But there's the tech up. So Capoch does beat him to the punchline, just about. And this is a big deal, by the way. This means that he can instantly start building into light junks before his opponent, but he doesn't. Look at this. DemonSheep started to build the light junk. Meanwhile, Capoch hasn't even touched the button yet. So Spearman Army gets spent. Doesn't start building the light junk, so pressure's going to be on him instead. And remember, there's 2 outposts here to the 1, and these ones are garrisoned. Meanwhile, Capoch has no one here to garrison. Instead, he does this. He sees, okay, you've invested a lot here, buddy. Like, you've got the double dock, or the 1 dock, the double outpost. This is a decent investment, right? What are you looking like back in your base? Have you even protected it at all? I really love this move out of Capoch. The problem he's going to have is, if you look at DemonSheep's economy, it's very tight-knit. Right? Unless you go around to the north side. And the problem is, Capoch, he is going to scout this. There we go. So he's making the wraparound, so he's going to see how exposed the berry bush line is, and then he can exploit that, because there's no protective towers here. Really, if I'm DemonSheep, after I see that move, the best course of action would be to instantly build an outpost here to cover this whole choke point. But he hasn't done it. So light junks out. Drive-by not very effective for Capoch. He's just going to lose it like that. The outpost is just too strong here. He's going to try and garrison his own now as he moves the spearman in. So now he can target down the light junk that DemonSheep has on the water. But DemonSheep, look at this, goes straight to the north, and he's going to start sniping out all of these fishing ships. Never underestimate the power of light junks, by the way. Look, 4 bursts, I think it is. That's all you need to actually kill off a fishing vessel. That being said, he didn't exactly micro that quite as well as we would have liked to have seen. Yeah, so that should now be Capoch more or less off the water. I don't see him likely to contest this, but he is contesting eco in the base. Problem is, the spearmen are starting to come out, the archers as well. So Capoch's assault is going to be countered quickly before it gets value. And he also invested in the hardened spearmen, right? They both did. But the difference is that one of them is producing archers. The other one, nope, he went for stables. So Capoch in the next 2 minutes can have an advantage, and he'll be able to get in there quickly, right? Because the horsemen are the fastest unit in the game. Be interested to see if DemonSheep... I doubt we'll get early info on this, and that's the big deal, right? So it's probably likely that DemonSheep barely produces spears now and just switches heavily into archers. And if he gets caught off guard, having heavily invested in that, like, say, 10, 15 archers, he could very quickly lose that army, and Capoch could take a big advantage as a result. And yeah, he's kind of given up on his dock. Signed off on it. He knows that he's not going to have much longer. It's just a distraction in the meantime. So there's the spears reveal, and this is where DemonSheep will double down. The archers were already trickling, right? He'll just continue to queue him up. Look, 2 times now as well. So no spearmen at all. He's hidden the horsemen so far, and I like that he's doing this. I hope he continues to do so. But instead, look, he says this is the value. He goes for the wrap. The horsemen are going to charge him. Remember, they've got the Yam movement speed from the Deer Stone. So they are moving at 2.16 tiles per second. That being said, without any rage of his own and only 2 horsemen, he backs off. And this is my problem. I feel like he revealed his hand a bit too soon. I think if he waited until 3 or 4 of these horsemen, he could have completely chased down his opponent. But unable to do so in the end. They get back to the safety of the outpost. Outpost, by the way, that never got arrow slits, so slowly being killed by Capoch. But as long as it's not harassing his fishing line, DemonSheep kind of doesn't mind. And that's the thing, actually. Look, the outpost is just attacking the building. It never wants to attack the fishing boat, so... This will cover the fishing fleet for a long time. Probably long enough to get through most of these fishing supplies, right? Meanwhile, Capoch now moving in with the spear and a horseman contingent. Just an army of spears in different forms. And quantities of 2 will not kill fast. However, when you find exposed economy like this, they will do good work. These 2 horsemen are about to pay for themselves. DemonSheep. That's a long run for his villagers. At least one of them should be lost, and more important, they've all been prevented from gathering here. So they'll finally stab 1 down. I don't know if you get a second. You should have to back off here in a sec, especially with the spearmen now arriving. Way too much bonus damage coming out there. As each of them losing 30 health from 1 stab of an 8 damage spearman. That's the power of bonus damage, folks. Don't underrate it. Meanwhile, in the north, battering ram time. So DemonSheep, he wants to force pressure into his opponent's base because right now Capoch is just being allowed to kind of run rampant back and forth to DemonSheep's eco lines. So what he wants to do is ensure that Capoch is never crossing the bridges anymore. And a battering ram will definitely get his attention. The problem is that with enough of these horsemen, you might be a bit screwed because you've only got 5 spearmen right now. Well, I made that 7 because there's 2 in the back line, the retreat point. It's battering ram. Backs up for the moment. Lot of spearmen. He's outnumbered here. That's the worrying part. Light junk does come out as well. And they will burn it quickly. He's trying to get rid of his enemy's light junk. Not able to do so. Baron Ram is going to be left behind. The movement speed to chase in. They can't get the light junk as it moves away. But don't worry. Capoch doesn't care about that. He goes straight for the main army. He surrounds them. The archers engaged in melee combat. Horsemen just trying to get rid of as many of these as possible. And while you have got 2 Baron Rams, they're going to feel wasted. DemonSheep should lose his forces here, even with the assistance of the light junk. Molotovs from 2 spearmen, not good enough. I say that, actually, he's holding his own right now. And a surprise turnaround off the back of the power of the light junk more than anything, and maybe a misprioritization, as he did primarily focus the spearman with his horsemen. In the end, DemonSheep will keep soldiers alive and even up the gap. In fact, it's just 2 spearmen running away from Capoch. Big mistake with the use of the horsemen there. He should have been onto the archers, but instead, he engaged with the spear line. A spear line that he, en masse, outnumbered and could have easily just wrapped around the back of. So he doesn't get the battering rams. He doesn't get rid of the army. And now the battering rams can slowly push in. There is a rebuild of the army coming out from Capoch, but all of a sudden, look at this. It's being mirror matched. DemonSheep bringing out the archers again. Something that, remember, to this point, Capoch has still not invested in. And these horsemen, while they can be a good counter to the archer spam, are not cheap. 100 food, 20 wood, and the difference is that Capoch is on a 1 TC without any dock expansion anymore. That's the difference maker, right? If he was still on the water, this horseman spam would be crazy. But now, instead, he's going to start to feel a little bit under pressure. I say a little bit, a whole goddamn lot. It's double ram. The advantage he does have on home territory is going to be, of course, this Deer Stone. But I wouldn't mind even seeing DemonSheep stop off to deal with that. Yeah, and he does exactly that. Now, you could pack this up and move it away. He hasn't chosen to do so far. And the movement in all the TC. Capoch run out of time to defend himself. Horseman on the back line is going to attack DemonSheep's economy in the meantime. So if Capoch can survive this attack, he'll be in pretty good condition to kind of push forward, right? Because the food income of DemonSheep will just plow down a bit. He'll be down on the Villi count. But we'll have to see if he gets that opportunity. As right now, there's just too many archers here for him, and he knows it. He goes in now, but it's just to try and force them away from burning down this TC quicker. And he has started to switch it up. He has actually got archers now being produced. It's going to need quite a few, though. Rams continue their work. Archers firing on the Spearman. Spearman, close the gap. The Khan's gone already. Didn't get a chance to get the buffs out. Going to try and wrap around. Remember, they got the Deerstone movement speed, and the villagers come out to burn down the Baron Rams as well while they're distracted. Baron Rams trying to back up. Movement speed buff. Going to chase down even faster. They're trying to get round the back of the archers to ensure they can't back off here. And there's one Baron Ram gone. Second one to fall. Plenty of these villagers alive. Barely any of them being sniped out, in fact. As these archers have to keep retreating as the horsemen and the spearmen stay on top of them. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of the Deerstones. Too powerful, in fact. As that's the main contingent gone. A huge amount of wood lost for DemonSheep there. He invested heavily into that. But Capoch stays alive, repels his opponent. The problem he does have is DemonSheep. He wasn't replenishing this army for good reason. This was buying time. Look at the resources right now. He has what he needs to go for the step readout. And I 100% expect it here. I don't want to see any cheesy Kurultai plays. Kurultai is for someone who thinks they can end the game in 5 minutes. I don't think you can end this game in 5 minutes. It's going to take a little bit longer. Especially the way Capoch continues to keep and maintain a military force here. Really good patience as well. Didn't engage too soon. Kind of lured his opponent in. Gave him this false sense of security that he had strong arms on the location. And then immediately overwhelms him with the movement speed buffs that he has. Compared to these very slow, sluggish archers that just can't move away anywhere near as quickly. And I think maybe some of this could have just been fixed with the addition of Outpost, right? Outpost could have definitely helped a lot in that regard. I think that is a bit of an error. And that's the thing I will say about DemonSheep. He's barely invested in Outpost anywhere. Feels kind of weird to me. I felt like wood was in good supply for him. Now again, the horsemen go in. More harassment to be done. They'll keep chasing out. Meanwhile, how much food is left up here? So 600 here. And I reckon about 500 up here, right? 248, and then the other one. So hard to click these guys. Oh, God. Yeah, so about 500 up here. So not much food left on the water. He's going to have to start, you know, upping his count on land. That being said, yeah, you got to keep in mind Capoch, 52 villages. DemonSheep, 54. Remember, that includes the fishing ships. So once it comes down to land, Capoch has a slight edge because he keeps harassing with these horsemen. And also, on the move now with his military infrastructure across to a new Uvu to keep spamming out units. Capoch does match up the castle age timing. Not much advantage for DemonSheep. That's the impressive part, actually. I've really got to highlight this. Capoch, under pressure, forced to build a new military, kept off of his production lines at times, under the pressure of DemonSheep's siege, still manages to match his castle age timing. And they did both go step readout, which means there's no eco advantage one way or the other. Wait, no, he didn't. DemonSheep went for the Kurultai. This is very dangerous. He's all in now. Now, he does get the damage buff, remember? It's a hefty amount at 25% plus the healing. But this is a very kind of all-in on one big attack type thing if you want to keep utilizing it. Because you have to move it across map. And if you ever find yourself being repelled, then your opponent's going to overwhelm you. And he's already overwhelming you now. The horseman into the spear, into the archer line, past the spears. And enough spears to here to repel red side. DemonSheep's going to have to back up here. Under the heels of the Kurultai. That will prevent the aggression of Capoch. But Capoch sniping out this food expansion now. Keeps him on the back foot. And this is where the danger of going Kurultai arrives. Because now if we look at the income per minute, it's even at the second, but how many are working each, right? 17 on gold over here. I look over here on the step readout, it's just a measly 11. This is the power. He's getting that extra 50% drop-off. And also remember, it's just magical gold. It comes out of nowhere. He money launders, right? He fabricates it. He creates it out of nowhere because it's not additional coming out. It's not a quicker harvest rate. It's just instead of this being a 4,000 gold supply, it turns into a 6,000 when you're utilizing the step readout. Which, by the way, he messed up a little bit here. Capoch should have moved this Gur away because some of his villages are still dropping off the Gur and missing out on that 50% extra drop-off. So Capoch backs up for the second. Just trying to replenish the army with a bit of quality to it. As he is starting to spam out the Lancers now. As he's got double stable down. And the problem I have here is DemonSheep. He has started building to the Lancers, but this Kurultai, he has to find value soon. And he has to move it to a more aggressive location. This is the thing. You're always going to have to shift it across the map with you. The buff does last a while, but 30 seconds, you know, when you're running across map, you'll lose it by the time you arrive in base if you leave it here. And that's the risky part. I think that's why a lot of people don't do Kurultai. It's not just it puts you on the timer compared to step readout. It's also that you have to position it in a very dangerous way, right? Where if you lose a fight and you used it as like a forward healing point and buffing point, you're going to lose the building. You probably will never get it back. Because you'd have to go rebuild the landmark on the enemy side of the map. So Lancers scout out. They see how many DemonSheep has, and this is where Capoch needs a good solid defense. This choke point is perfect for that. Needs to be careful with the Springles, though. That's my worrying part right now. These Springles are being built out in the field. Capoch, I don't think he's built a single one yet, no. That's a very big mistake. Has he even got a blacksmith to go for the research? Yeah, he's got the blacksmithy back here. And, okay, so he has got it. Yeah. So he can build into these, I believe. Wait, no, he hasn't. He needs the improved. Uh-oh. That's a bit awkward. He didn't move the blacksmiths over here, so he isn't able to get the improved, which is what DemonSheep done. Which means DemonSheep, every time he moves up, every time he continues this crawl, he can continue to replenish the strongest element of the stage, which is going to be the Springles. And you can see the power of them right now. Capoch in full retreat. And he can't invest, like, he needs to move the blacksmith right now. I feel like even then it's too late. It takes a minute to research, right? And this is the worrying part for me, because the power of these Springles, with a number kind of being matched, like, how do you get in his Capoch? You really can't. And you don't want to have to build it into a siege workshop, which he has to now, because, and here's the reason you didn't want to do it. Look at the cross. That's 300 wood. That's 1.5 Springles worth of wood. He's still got the resources to start producing them, but the problem is also in the field, how quickly, in comparison, can DemonSheep build them, right? With his archers surrounding. Fairly fast is the answer. DemonSheep pushing in. He does need to push this advantage now, because remember, 1 TC compared to 2. That's the big thing Capoch done here, and that's what kind of put him behind a little bit on the, getting on the siege front, is that he went for the secondary TC. So Capoch looking to boom. DemonSheep definitely needing to end the game soon. And yeah, here it comes. I was about to say, he needs the Kurultai up here. This should have been here sooner. He finally bring it up. By the way, I love how this is still marked as an Age 2 landmark. Nice little UI bug there when it's on the move for you. Turns into an Age 3 one magically when you deploy it. You can tell that this was at one point a second tech, can't you? Hey, at least then you would have had a tough choice. Deerstone or Kurultai. That's a rough one. Battering ram built. Springle's moving in. And 1 Springle so far, about to be 2. But he's still outnumbered, so Capoch needs to delay this a bit more. It's only a secondary TC, and he can buy time repairing it if need be. But the Lancers are coming. A decent amount of them on both sides, in fact. 9 compared to 10. But remember, Capoch does have Spearmen in the mix still. So back up for the sec. Town Center actually prioritizing a different target. Really inconsistent the way this works. But Baron Ram will now go back in. And they do not have the wood to, what, repair? That's a bit weird. Oh, we're on incom. Yeah, he's actually drained. I suddenly had an incom per minute. That's why Capoch's not repairing this. He might actually just end up losing the TC then. Lancer's just getting involved trying to burn this up. It is on fire now. That means you also get the resources if you're DemonSheep. And they're going to commit to the final Molotov load. TC goes down. That's 900 wood lost. And Capoch pretty limited on the wood as well. Lancers looking to engage the Lancer line. They're trying to wrap round towards the Springles. Springles trying to target out the opponents once. Capoch running out of siege weapons quickly here. More Lancers charging in. Remember, the Kurultai is giving that buff, so the Lancers, even when slightly outnumbered, can trade fairly well. The Archers trying to join in and deal with these Lancers, getting through them fairly fast. But I think there's enough troops here to repel him. Capoch going to push DemonSheep away. He can't retreat too far, though. He doesn't want to give up the Kurultai. He's just trying to buy time and get that healing treacle. And after he baits him in the Archer line, even if it gets lost, you might have the advantage with the Lancers. Springle's still sniping. Lancer's almost gone for Capoch. He's run out of troops. Once these Archers are exposed, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Remember, a lot of his front line was villagers as well. He just cannon foddered this in. And the trickle in is looking effective from DemonSheep as he splits up and goes for the eco lines, forces the wood line off. And charge in 4 Lancers. This will be enough to just decimate this entire Archer line. 1 Springald and 1 Springald, but DemonSheep in the end is going to be the one with 1 left over. As he snipes the final one out, he bursts through the Archers. Capoch, military spent, TC expansion gone. And DemonSheep made a new home in your base because this Kurultai is going to heal up the forces while he replenishes with newly produced units. You can still see the consistent treacle in here. And I'm worried. Capoch, he spent everything now. Capoch, 52 on the civvy count, 71 for DemonSheep, and DemonSheep in your base still not letting up. Sniping more of these villages, these valuable villages that you can only produce out of one building again. Lancers in, cuts off the chase. His Cav's going to fall once more. He did get one more sprinkled up, but it's going to start to get sniped here. He's going to switch it over, but even if you get the advantage, remember, the Lancers can now chase you down as you do not have a front line anymore. And he starts to repair it. These sprinkles are his last hope, his last joy, but he knows it's too little and it's too late. GG comes out. DemonSheep, like a demonic force possessed with his Kurultai buff, just eviscerating his fellow Mongol comrade.